Hello, young people. Eyes here, mouths closed. Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about research, looking at reliable sources for research. You're going to begin conducting research for your global history project. So it's important to look at what websites we can trust and what websites we cannot trust. So first, let's just begin by talking about background research, which is what you're going to be doing in global and in my class for the next few weeks. The first step of the research process is forming essential questions. Essential questions are the questions that you came up with, open-ended questions that leave a lot of room for investigation and research. The second step of this process is background research. That's what we're going to be looking at doing today. Once you have identified your topic, which you have, you need to learn a little bit of information about that topic. Now, at this point, you might not just have that one essential question. You may have lots of questions about the topic. That's a good thing. Background research aims at answering your initial questions, and that's what you're going to be doing today in your global work. Good essential questions, and working with these essential questions, is where we really develop a depth to our research. Good essential questions provide a lot of possible answers. That's the beauty of an open-ended question, is that it doesn't just have a yes or no or a one-word answer, but there are a lot of debatable answers that we can explore. What you need to do when you do your research today and in the future is push yourself to look as deeply at the topic as possible. This is critical to finding really great research for your work. Think about what information do you need to know about genocide, and what information do you want to know? The answer to those questions will often come in the form of more questions. That's what you're going to end up researching. Now, when we research, we have to look for specific types of information that will help us get to the answers we want. So some things that you're going to be looking for today are definitions of keywords. You may have done that already with your key vocab words for global. Key facts and statistics. These are the numbers that can help us provide context for an issue. If it comes to genocide, you might want to look for statistics and facts to help support your ideas, or even just to gather a greater understanding of what it is you're studying. Names of important people and organizations, including political organizations, are going to be very important for your work today with global. You're going to be looking at different genocides and trying to figure out the key figures and statistics that are involved, along with major dates and events. These are all really important things to look for in your research. Location and geographic factors are important, especially when we're looking specifically at global history work and research there. And then any additional sources or links, information that you can use for your research, all going to be very important to take. Now this is where we get to the important stuff. How to find a reliable source. Not everything on the internet can or should be trusted. In fact, there is a lot of what we call misinformation online. This is information that does not actually bring you to the objective or true truth. So where we look for information, encyclopedias are an older source, but still a reliable source, right? These can be print encyclopedias, those big books that you look at, or online encyclopedias. Not Wikipedia, but Encyclopedia Britannica, sources like that. You're going to be looking at a lot of websites. The best websites to look for are websites that end in .edu or .gov. .edu websites are connected to higher educational schools, colleges, universities that do professional research and won't post information if it is not credible. The same can be said of .gov. .gov websites are information supplied specifically from the government. It is official, often stat or fact-based information for you. Some other websites that can be reliable are .org websites. .org websites come from professional organizations, hence .org. However, not all organizations are reliable, and what you need to do when you look at a .org website is really explore the website, specifically the About section of the website, to see who is posting that. Is it from a research organization, or is it from a political organization? Typically, research organizations are going to be more reliable than political organizations. Some newspaper websites can be used as reliable sources, but very few. The ones I suggest are the New York Times or the Washington Post, NY Times or WaPost, the New Yorker, the British Broadcasting Company, which is .co.uk, that's a UK-based .com site, or National Geographic. Another really good source you can use is what's called Google Books or Google Scholars. I'll show you a little bit more on that in a second. And then textbooks are good sites. Most .coms are not included here. .coms can have information, but the reliability of that information is questionable. Anybody can start a .com. You can go online, register a website for a .com website, and put whatever you want on there. It doesn't mean it's reliable information. When you get research, it's important to take note of the following pieces of information. You might find information, background information, that's really important. You'll want that information for later when we talk about how to do a works cited page. So when you find a good piece of research, it's important to make note of where you found the information and be specific as to what we call the URL, the www.website.com, the title of the article and the website, and the organization or author of the article and the website. So let's take a look at some reliable websites to start with. This is going to be your global history work for assignment number 4. You're going to be asked to research 4 of these genocides and to provide this information for each of them: the time period, the country, the leader, who were the perpetrators, that's the vocab word, who were the victims, how many were killed, a statistic or fact, the method, and what happened to the perpetrators. In order to find this information, you'll have to look for a reliable website. So I went to Google. I typed in genocide US government. Let's look at a few of the websites that come up. One website that came up here was this, titled US Government Statements on Genocide. I looked and I saw, okay, a .org. That might be reliable. Let's see what the website leads me to. Once I'm here, I notice that it says it's the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. That's a website and an organization that I think I can trust. If I couldn't, I could go to the menu here, and I could look for information about the museum. And this will give me information about the organization and the people that put together this website. When I go back to that article now, I say, okay, U.S. government statements on genocide, a report exploring how, when, and why determinations of genocide are made. And I can read through this. It tells me information about the report, where it came from. I can download the full report, or I can go to specific parts here. For example, I could look at cases from the 1990s, and here's information on genocides from the 1990s. That is a reliable source. Let's go back a little bit here. I can go here. Justice.gov. I see that this is a .gov. .govs are reliable sites. So what do I have here? I have the U.S. Department of Justice. And here they define what genocide is according to the Department of Justice. This is a reliable .gov site that I can use for my research. Now, I might be looking here and I say, okay, Senate recognizes Armenian genocide over Trump and ... and Turkish government. Now, this looks like a reliable source. They are talking about, let's get this video out of the way, they're talking about the Armenian genocide, and this information may be correct, but I have to look back at the website, usatoday.com. It is a .com and not an approved .com, meaning I cannot trust this source. It doesn't have enough authority to be used in research. If I scroll down, I might find some others here. Journals.openedition.org. I might want to look at that. It's a .org. Washington Post. That's one of the approved .com websites. Dailynews.com. Not approved. You cannot use that website. Other websites you might want to use are .edu. So I've searched genocideus.edu. And I can look here at different genocide studies. One I might want to look at is right here. cla.umn.edu, and it's talking about the genocide in Rwanda. I pulled this website up. It is a website from the University of Minnesota. That is a reputable educational site. It's a higher education university. They have a lot of information here about the genocide in Rwanda, all of which I can use because that comes from a reputable website. Now, why are some .orgs not supposed to be used? Well, Here we go, Wikipedia, wikipedia.org. Now, Wikipedia has some information in it that is useful, but anyone can go into Wikipedia and edit a Wikipedia site. Therefore, it is not a reliable source. Even though it's a .org, like I mentioned, not all .orgs are reputable sources. There's two other sites I want to introduce you to. One is Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a really important website that looks at different scholarly journals and books that might be able to provide us with information. These are all approved, reliable sources. So if I click here, Understanding Genocide, it leads me to the Cambridge University Press. Cambridge is a very famous university in Great Britain. It provides information here that I can use based on genocide. Now, the problem with Google Scholar is this. I have this information, but it doesn't necessarily provide the entire report. So I might not get all of the information I need, but I might be able to get some of the information I need, right? It also can lead you to books, and this is another site I wanted to show you, Google Books. Google Books does the same thing, but linking the information to books instead of scholarly journals. Here's one for a book called The Rwanda Crisis, History of a Genocide. And I have access now to this book with all of this information on the Rwanda genocide. If we go to Google Books again, books.google.com. Again, website looks just like Google. Let's say I want to look at the Armenian genocide. Just type this in, and I have access to books here, The History of the Armenian Genocide. This provides me with some, not always all, of the pages in the book. So I can go through and say, all right, I want to look at factors handicapping the Armenian quest for relief, or legal political context, right? And this will lead me to different pages where I can go and I can look for information about this genocide. So Google Scholar, Google Books, both leading you to reputable resources. So, quick review. .edu, .gov, both are very good. Google Books, Google Scholar, both are very good. A list of approved newspaper websites, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the New Yorker, which is a magazine, British Broadcasting Company of the UK, National Geographic, and some .org websites. But these .orgs are the tricky ones, and those are the ones where you're going to have to put in a little bit more research to determine whether or not the website is reputable. With that, if you have any questions, please let us know and reach out to us, and we'll get back to you with some help, both on Google Zoom, office hours on Fridays, or through email. Happy researching!